order of business is pledging allegiance to the flag. Reverend Rouse, can you hear us? Here. Albert? Here. Bob?
Yes, here.
Dan? Present. And Reverend Martinez is not here, correct? Great. All right. In their packets, the resume of Anthony Vignola, who we would like to appoint as our attorney, replacing Convery, who, as you know, has resigned, who has served this board for many years. And the letter of resignation, I believe, was forwarded to county council. What's it? You're still serving in that capacity. I believe Mr. Vignola's resume was provided in your packets, and I would entertain a motion for the appointment of Mr. Vignola as the legal counsel for the ethics board. So moved. Okay, so there's a motion made by Ken. Okay, any second?
I'll second it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any abstentions?
Roll call on that? Would you spend money?
We can do a roll call, that's fine. Reverend Rouse?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Reverend Martinez, not here, and myself, yes. Okay, the next item is
Mr.
election.
Hellman, if I may.
Yes. Oh, Mr. Stoll, I
I
see.
usually have, when I go to meetings of our public clients, I try to make a record that I never say anything if I get to the meeting. I want to thank the board. It is a privilege and a pleasure for Mr. Vignola to be named. I just want the board to understand that the firm, Mr. Vignola and I have been in practice since 1972, without counting my age, together. So there may come a time when, as it is today, that Mr. Vignola may not be here, but the only other person who would be here would be a member, a partner of the firm in his place instead, and the chairman would be advised if Mr. Vignola was not able to make that meeting. But he'll make most of it, but this was just a timing issue.
I certainly have no issue with that. I don't think any of the members do as well. Thank you, Mr. Stoll, for that. Election of officers is the next item on. Okay. Is there another motion?
Robert?
You?
I will nominate, fine, I will nominate Mr. Frankel.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. Roll call. Reverend Rouse?
Yes.
Albert?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Dan?
Abstain.
And I will vote yes, and Reverend Martinez is not here, so the motion carries. Okay, so those are the officers for, I believe it is a primary day. I mean, it's a primary election day. We can,
I thought we usually only meet because if we have something on the agenda, I mean.
why don't we do this? Why don't we leave it? And then, if it turns out that we may need a meeting before then, we can modify the June date. That, or you want to change it now? Okay, we can change it now. Look at our calendar.
Okay, it's all right with me.
Take a look. So we could do the following week, on the 14th. Or why don't we amend that to June 14th? And, okay, so do I have a motion to fix those dates with the amendment of Tuesday, June 14th, 2016 for the second meeting? Any old business that anyone would like to discuss or bring up? Okay, under new business and correspondence, in your packet, there was a copy of a complaint filed against freeholder Carol Volante by Charlie Rabatel, and that is dated December 14th, 2015. And that complaint, I guess, outlines the request for this board to review the matters raised in the complaint. And it would be my suggestion that at this point we acknowledge the receipt of the complaint, and that we direct and authorize our attorney to review this matter and research prepared to give a legal opinion to the members on the appropriate course of action that should be taken relative to that complaint, and if any action that would be needed by the board under the county ethics code. And I would also suggest that perhaps a subcommittee be formed from the members to work alongside Mr. Morrow, so that in case there are questions or issues he may need from us, we could sort of field that information, and then we could report back to the members at the next appropriate meeting. Does that sound reasonable to all?
Sounds fine.
Yes. Okay. So, would anybody like to volunteer to work on that subcommittee? I certainly would have no issue if someone else wants to join me on that. Any volunteers?
I'll join you.
Okay, all right, great, okay. So, Mr. Stahl, if you would, speak to Ms. Manola about our direction, and let's see, the next meeting is not until June, but, you know, if needed, we certainly can schedule a special meeting if we think that's appropriate. And I don't know whether you have any sense of timing of when you think you'd be able to get back with, but I don't think it's needed right now, but just to think
Well,
about that, I would suspect in the next,
It's up to the board. I mean, if they want it in a week, 2 weeks, whatever the timing is, you know, we've looked at the, I mean, in all candor, we've looked at the complaint. I'm not making any judgment, you know, because it's a recommendation. We looked at the complaint, reviewed the tape of the meeting,
Yes.
and reviewed the ethics ordinance. So I think based upon that and based upon some other review, we would be prepared to make give you an opinion. With any time period, about 2 weeks?
why don't we suggest this? Would you be able to have something to work with the, at least to formally discuss this with the subcommittee, say within the next 30 days?
Absolutely.
And then, after that, be able to, you know, issue an opinion to the full board, and then we can deliberate on that. So figure sometime by the end of February,
Got it.
we would be able to have
Yeah.
that issue resolved.
I'd just
at
like-
least from an opinion standpoint.
Just like you to consider, rather than having a physical meeting, we can do this on the telephone as well.
You mean,
Telephone meeting.
first, if we had a special meeting?
If we have like an update or an interim report, we can do it by phone unless it's really necessary.
I think if we're gonna take any action, I think we would need to have a public meeting here.
Oh, no, I'm not talking about the end result.
Right.
I'm talking about the result of the attorney.
Well, certainly there could be communications.
Well, the subcommittee with counsel did not violate the Open Public Meetings Act as 2 members on a subcommittee.
All right.
And with
That's
the
my
attorney, so they
understanding.
can have those discussions.
Right.
With no problem. Then when the board is ready to make a public determination, I think an open public meeting.
Oh, absolutely. So
Oh, yeah.
what we would do at that point is, we would either keep our June meeting on, or if the board felt it was necessary, we could schedule a meeting prior to that and notice for that. Any other questions or items you'd like to raise with regard to the complaint received? All right, the next item on the agenda, anything else that the board would want to raise? Okay, fine. With that said, I will, yeah, you're right, correct, thank you. We will open it up to the members of the public before we do.
Good afternoon, members of the board and the professionals here. Thank you for acknowledging the complaint and for moving forward with it. I have a few
For the record,
questions.
and everyone may know you.
I should mention my name.
Mention your name and spell your last name.
Certainly, Charles Cradiville, Kratovil. I'm from New Brunswick. And I wanted to ask, is this meeting being recorded, audio recording?
I would just need the our IT department about that.
There will be minutes prepared of the meeting, you know, written minutes. I'm not sure if there's an physical audio. I don't believe so.
Okay, That's okay. It's something you might want to look into in the future. I'll try my best to capture the future meetings. But I do know that they have that equipment here for the freeholders, so it would probably make sense to use it.
We will certainly look into that.
Thank you. Can you tell me when was the last time this board had a public meeting?
I believe that was the June 9th? June 9th.
June 9th of last year, okay.
Correct.
And so I need to raise a concern about the schedule of meetings. You've said that the next one is not until June 7th, but you've also said that you're expecting to have some progress made on the complaint
Correct.
within, by the end of next month, February. Respectfully, would you be able to just schedule a meeting in March today so that everyone knows, while everyone is here and can get their schedules out, that we could all, decide on the date?
I had mentioned earlier that I believe that a meeting might be in order prior to the June meeting. I'm just not sure we're going to be able to be in a position today to schedule that because I want to give council the opportunity to be able to thoroughly review that and sort of have a discussion with the subcommittee. It's probable that we would have a special meeting shortly after council is be prepared to brief the board.
Okay. And so, I guess, are there any new members on the board who were not previously on the board at the last meeting?
We're not pleased, I think we're all the same, and the Reverend Forston, speaker.
Okay, and there's also another person, the Reverend Martinez is not here?
Not here, and it's possible that, I don't think he's attended a meeting in quite some time, so my understanding is that they may be looking to replace Reverend Martinez.
Understood. And can you tell me who is the appointing authority? Is it the freeholders
I
that
believe it's the freeholder.
decide? Okay.
At least that's who I got my letter from.
Okay, and so I'm glad to see you'll be using Robert's rules. I wanted to ask, though, is there, does somebody have with them the code of ethics for the county?
I have, it's available online.
It is,
We
okay.
also have the county counsel's office resources available to us. So, and I believe Mr. Stoll's office would have access to that as well. So we will be reading it and obviously reviewing what council has to say on those legal issues.
Certainly, and I don't have a copy with me today. Can somebody tell me if there is any timeline that's kind of, set out for how swiftly the board should handle a complaint, how swiftly it should be referred to a subcommittee, how swiftly action should be taken?
I don't have the code of ethics in front of me, but certainly if there's an issue with that, I'm confident that legal counsel will be able to advise the board accordingly. So Mr. Stoll, we should probably just verify if there are any time limitations on formally responding to the complaint. I don't know the answer to that.
Well, in response to you, Mr. Himmelman, the ordinance requires an acknowledgement of receipt of the complaint, which I believe has already been accomplished by the board. And then it indicates that the appropriate investigation will be made, and within 30 days of the decision of the board, an appeal may be taken. But there is no requirement with regard to a time period from which receipt of the grievance and action. The ordinance is silent as to that.
Thank you, Mr. Stoll. So I think that answers your question.
Thank you, it does. My final few questions I want to ask about the choice to hire the law firm that you chose. Can you tell me who made that decision? Maybe you could ask, who asked Mr. Stoll to be here today?
That decision was made in conjunction with the county counsel's office. It's my understanding that under the ethics code, the board can appoint its employees and independent professionals to be retained, and after consultation with county counsel's office, that Mr. Vignola's name was suggested, and I presented that to the members of the ethics board.
Okay, and can you tell me, were there any other suggestions, any other recommended firms, or just the one?
I don't know. I can't answer that. I'm not
Okay, and your decision to finalize and make that appointment today, what was the basis for that
The
decision?
basis was that Mr. Manola has extensive experience in ethics matters, and I think is eminently qualified, in addition to his law firm, to be able to guide the board in its decision. And so it was based, quite frankly, on his qualifications.
Okay. Well, I feel obligated then to speak up and let you know, in case you were not aware, that Mr. Vignolo has been representing here and there the Ethics Board across the street at City Hall, New Brunswick. And in a matter where I was the complainant last year, the Board of Ethics, under his guidance, made a number of errors that ultimately compromised the integrity of the board and its decision, and that decision is currently under appeal, and that has come at a cost, to the taxpayers, and an unnecessary one at that. Mr. Vignolo, quite frankly, would not allow anyone to criticize his decisions publicly, so they happened, and there was nothing that could be done about them, and then the only choice left was to appeal, and as a result, that is now costing the city and harmed the integrity of the board, and you also now have the matter dragging out for more than a year while the state looks at it, and that's currently going to go before an Office of Administrative Law judge. So I would caution the Ethics Board of Middlesex County about the mistakes that were made by the New Brunswick Ethics Board, and I would respectfully suggest that you look at news coverage of this on newbrunswicktoday.com and nj.com and see just how Mr. Vignolo handled himself in that important position of power, and in that important position where the Ethics Board was relying on him to show them the path, follow the rules, and do it the right way. And I really, really want to caution you against moving forward. I would suggest perhaps you could have an open public bidding process, and you could find a firm rather than going to the one that's suggested to you by the county council, who of course works closely with the freeholders. So respectfully, I want to caution the board about the direction you're going by hiring this firm. I don't know if Mr. Vignolo lives in New Jersey anymore. I don't know why he's not here today. If you're hiring him, he should present himself to questioning and to the board. So with all due respect, I ask you to reconsider that decision in the ample time you have, and that you consider making a change and calling a special meeting to enact that change. And other than that, I guess the only other thing I need to ask about is if anyone here needs to recuse themselves from this particular matter because of either a relationship with the freeholder involved, or perhaps the Elks organization. Can you ask your colleagues if any of them need to?
I certainly have no reason to abstain or recuse myself. I don't know if any of the members do.
So I'm an elected official, I'm an elected official of town. I'm the mayor.
Yes, I know. No, there's no reason, because you are an elected official of a municipality in this county, that has any effect upon your decisions on this board.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
No.
I would just like to, I would rather not get into the specifics of what you were discussing earlier. All I will say is that I'm not familiar with the proceedings involving the city of New Brunswick. However, I think whether or not mistakes were made by that particular governing body is a determination that we made, I presume, by the court. So my understanding that Mr. Manola is more than capable of representing this board on this ethics matter, and this board obviously agrees, so we will proceed accordingly. But I thank you for your comments and your thoughts.
Thank you, and thank you for the time to address you today.